I think that there's a very interesting movement within PhDs in general to think about the notion of a professional researcher and what that might mean outside the context of a university, what that might mean in a working life that takes you beyond academia. And certainly in my experience in the digital realm, when it comes to working with startups or indeed working with companies that are doing research and development, a person with a PhD who understands what research culture is, understands the place of research within creative environments, that's very valuable skill set to have. And so to be able to go into the creative industries with a PhD to back you up, I think is a really dynamic thing to be able to do.
Digital writing is a relatively new form of writing, and it's also known as electronic literature. And there's an international network of practitioners of electronic literature that I've been involved with for about the past 8 or 10 years since I started digital writing.
I can see how, as things evolve, that idea of having someone who has got that research skill and a creative skill that they've really thought about will be important and useful. Perhaps more in industries where it's an understanding of knowledge is quite formalised.
I don't think it's viewed particularly favourably, except by those people who have come through the system, who have done a master's in creative writing and therefore know of its existence. Having a doctorate is really not a commercial selling point, therefore I can't see how it would possibly matter to any of my publishers that I had a doctorate.
I think the creative writing PhD has a huge amount to offer to, in particular, the creative industries, because of the ability to think in new ways, to develop creative projects within a broader research context. I think that is an invaluable thing for any creative PhD student to take into industry. You are consistently challenged over your work, that you have to be able to defend it, you have to be able to discuss it, and you have to be able to explain it. And those skills are really valuable skills wherever you are. If you work in the creative industries in particular, where there's increasing pressure on being able to quantify and explain the value of what you're doing, and to have the skills that a PhD gives you, that's a real advantage.
It's fairly new concept. Some people are still a little hesitant to accept it. Especially you go online or whatnot, and even people who are in the industry, other writers, they say, why would you get one? Who deserves one? Do you need to be, do you have to have won a large prize in order to deserve a PhD in creative writing? And obviously I don't think so, because I haven't won a major prize yet. I think people just don't understand it yet. It's interesting. They'll accept things like PhDs in art, or even in music, although that's taken time to grow as well. And creative writing is just one of those last bastions of the creative practice that people are starting to accept does have an academic component that can be, it's not about the talent, it's about the craft. So they're understanding that craft can be developed in an academic environment. They understand the masters. It's more practical. It's kind of, now many writers are going through it. So it is a stage. It also helps publishing houses. Their editors are so overworked now that it gives them an extra step. The writers know how to workshop, they know how to work with editors, and the manuscripts that come in are fairly polished, so that lessens their work, so they understand that.
When I'm talking to PhD students about their work, and if they're working for young people, obviously what you want to do with a PhD is not just see the completion of a PhD thesis as the ultimate goal, but you're then saying, well, what experience, what are you going to do then as a writer? And I think it's generally known that writers, it's unusual now for writers to be able to make a living solely by writing. So with PhD students, what I'm trying to do is to say what the opportunities are for them once they've left So it's preparing our students for life beyond academia, really. I think that's a really important thing in the PhD.
I'm hoping to somehow affect policy on reading in schools. I would hope that being not just the fact that I'm a published author in that area, but the fact that I am also a doctor and that I have studied how fiction works on children will make a big difference. So that's one area I think it does carry weight. I'm not saying I will ever affect policy change, but I'm going to damn well give it a try, basically.
It is showing that we have the capacity to undertake and to almost project manage a very large project, which in the digital world would be, you'd be liaising with other artists, or you'd be doing it yourself if you could, but you have the facility to actually create something and manage other people, manage a team, and actually follow through on this your plan. And of course, that would be incredibly important for analog writers as well. And we have to be incredibly cognizant of what our process is and how it relates to the rest of the industry. For the PhDs, we are aware of how we are placed in the environment of our industry and in the canon itself. So I think that's probably, those are important facets that we bring as opposed to just having a master's, although that's, a great accomplishment as well.